Thank you so much for that introduction, Skip. And we didn't talk about this ahead of time, but I am going to tell my own version of that story from the first time that I walked into your classroom. It is really hard for me to overstate what a profound honor it is to receive this recognition from the place and the people and the community that formed me. It is really overwhelming. And I'm having, as I stand up here, one of those rare moments that we only get a handful of times in our lives when you can see a circle come full. Because the very first time that I ever spoke to a room full of people, I was a scared and shaking 15-year-old sophomore who had just been convinced by Joan Davis, my English teacher, to go out for the speech and debate team. And so I was standing at the front of Mr. Altig's classroom on the second floor of the old West building, speaking to a teacher that I did not know and a room full of mostly distracted, but nevertheless intimidating juniors and seniors. And I would say, Mr. Altig is too nice to say this, I would say that speech that I gave that day was really an unmitigated and probably comical disaster. But when it was finally and mercifully over, I received my very first of Mr. Altig's characteristic one-page of legal paper, handwritten notes for feedback on the speech. And it contained Mr. Altig's masterful combination of affirmation and gentle challenge. And receiving that affirmation and gentle challenge set my whole life on a course that in some ways it's still on. And so the way that the circle is coming full right now is that I'm now speaking to another configuration of the North Platte High School community after having spent about the last 25 years as a professional extemporaneous speaker after all of that time and that terrible start that I had in Mr. Altig's classroom. And that story for me really captures the legacy of the gift that North Platte High School has given to me. Because what I found in my entire experience in North Platte Public Schools was over and over and over again, I encountered educators who believed in me before I had given them any evidence to do so. People not only like Skip Altig, but people like Joan Davis and Tom Hammond and Margot Hirschfeld and so many other teachers who over and over and over saw gifts in me that I could not see and had a belief in me that I did not have. And over time, what that did is it taught me how to identify my own giftedness and how to believe in myself. And they didn't obviously only do that with me, but what I experienced at North Platte High School was a community of people who had been met by educators and coaches and others who believed in them and from whom they caught belief in themselves. So that there was this community of people learning how to identify giftedness in each other and believe in ourselves. That has shaped everything that I've ever done in my life and the way that I've met every challenge that I have faced in my life. Like most people, I could not possibly have imagined 32 years ago what my life would be like today and the role that I have today. But every single day of those 32 years that have passed, I have drawn on that foundation of learning how to believe in myself that I received from so many of the educators at North Platte High School. I'll close with this. In the Ethiopian Orthodox Christian tradition, there is this saying that for a church to really be a church, it has to be surrounded by a forest. And so, if you visit the northern highlands of Ethiopia, what you will find is a landscape that over the last 100 years, through unsustainable agricultural practices and other factors, has been basically turned into a desert. And the only places where there is still forest remaining is in these small little groupings of trees that surround the Ethiopian Orthodox Church buildings. And so in Ethiopian Orthodox Christianity, they really see their vocation, their job, the purpose of their lives as tending to these small forests in the desert landscape. And I've always thought that that is a really beautiful way to think about the purpose of our lives. In a world that is full of suffering, in a world that is full of challenge, in a world that in so many ways can be impossibly hard, we all have a choice. We can choose to tend small forests in that desert landscape. What I received from North Platte Public Schools was I learned how to keep forests in the desert. It's what I've tried to do every day of my career and every day of my life, and I am inestimably grateful to all of you for this honor and to everyone who helped shape me in the North Platte Public Schools. So thank you.